Hi, my name is Colbert and let's start with CountryBalls Heroes. So basically this is a humorous Heroes of Might and Magic clone where the main heroes and monsters are country balls, the thing most of us know from the vast plains of the internet. For those who don't know, these country balls are used in comics or memes. They humorously represent the countries and their stances about various issues of the world, or just used to create plain stupid humor, which is best. So here you'll build up your base and recruit various country balls unique for each faction. Train multiple balls, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. Your balls can become a plumber, hussar, priest, drunkard, cowboy, and so on. You'll find 90 unique units and several factions. Players on Steam are saying that the game is cringy, but the cringe is kinda good cringe and not cringy, if you know what I mean. Song of Horror Complete Edition. So this is a cute game for the whole family, well, if you are a family of monsters that is. Otherwise, this is a psychological horror game for adults. Here a famous writer has gone missing, along with his entire family. Worried, his editor sent an assistant to his house in order to look for him, but he never came back. If you have seen the movie In the Mouth of Madness with Sam Neill, you can draw parallels already, but that is not the same story, oh no. Here, these disappearances spark a set of events that will soon reveal something dreadful. A nameless dark entity known only as the Presence seems to be responsible. But this is not just a simple horror jumpscare infused game.
Oh no.
The evil Presence is controlled by an advanced AI that adapts to your actions and decisions, and that makes it, you know, actually alive. That is extremely creepy. So as a player, you will live the story through the eyes of a varied set of characters related to the story in their own way. Every character is different and brings their unique point of view to the investigation, allowing you to approach clues and items differently, but all of them can die if the Presence gets to them, and death is permanent. So how strong are your mental balls? Some say that the game has better horror than Lovecraft has ever written. Well, it's for you to decide, if you have a pair, but I recommend having at least 7 of them. My Time at Portia. This is a fun and relaxing RPG, a great open world game with an incredible amount of stuff to do. It is similar to Stardew Valley, but has more depth in it, literally because it is in 3D and figuratively because it is bigger in general. And this is the best game if you just want to relax. Here you arrive in a weird post-apocalyptic new town named Portia to inherit your father's old building workshop and spend your time restoring it to its former glory. It's definitely not a game for a serious RPG lover, but sometimes it's just good to relax, catch some alpacas, build some experimental devices, and even go to a dungeon to fight giant rats. Definitely a game for the whole family. Overcrowd, a Commute Em Up. Every day millions crowd the metro in a desperate bid to get to work. Can you build and run the perfect metro station to help them make it on time? Probably not, but you can try anyway. Excavate your way through 4 layers of earth. Design your layout carefully and plot commuter routes with user-defined directional signs. You'll need to assemble a crack team, tool them up and deploy them to run your station in real time. You can set priorities, schedule breaks, or just deploy them manually. Keep your staff room well stocked and your employees happy, and you can take your tube station to new depths. But don't worry, here everything can go wrong very quickly. Angry people create more angry people, especially if they are late to work, and there is a 2-kilometer line between them and the ticket machine.
Why didn't they buy tickets online then?
Yeah, exactly, why didn't they? For the King. If you took Heroes of Might and Magic and crossbred it with some children's book with big pictures in it, you would get For the King. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of a better comparison, but it's quite accurate. For the King is a strategic RPG that blends tabletop and roguelike elements in an adventure that spans over the realms. You can play it alone or cooperatively both online and locally. Here every playthrough is made unique with procedurally generated maps, quests, loots and events for you to participate in. Between playthroughs you can purchase weapons, items, NPCs, classes, events, and so on. It has roguelite replayability implemented, and this time it's kinda cool. You know, except the fact that you will die a lot. Yeah, that's what roguelite is all about. Dying and then getting better because of that. People on Steam are saying that the game is very addictive, and you can be killed by a skeleton named Boner. Let that sink. Green Hell. Game feels like Wrath, The Forest and Far Cry Primal had a baby, and very positive reviews are saying to us that this baby is not ugly and you shouldn't give up it for adoption. This time. Here you are left alone in a jungle without any food or equipment, trying to survive and find your way out. Clinging to life, you have to go on a journey of durability, as the effects of solitude weigh heavy not only on your body but also on the mind. How long can you survive against the dangers of the unknown? Knowing you, probably probably not very long. You know, me as well, when I watch survival shows, especially the one called Alone, I'm always thinking that I would never give up and I would win the money no matter what, not like these other people. But the truth is, I would probably slip on some snail and die on the third day. Or, you know, I probably would be attacked and eaten by a bunch of these, which is a terrible fate. So here, constantly threatened by the jungle, you'll fight with both wild animals and tropical illnesses. You will also have to face the traps set by your own mind and fears that grow out of the darkness of the endless jungle. Enjoy the game alone or with friends. Human Fall Flat. This is a hilarious, light-hearted physics platformer set in a world of floating dreamscapes. Each level provides a new environment to navigate, from mansions, castles and Aztec adventures to snowy mountains, eerie nightscapes and industrial locations. Multiple routes through each level and playful puzzles ensure exploration and ingenuity are rewarded. More than 30 million copies are sold so far, and this is not a coincidence. This game is very entertaining. And the best review I have read about this game was written by IGN. They said, "It's just dumb fun." And yeah, that's what it is. Tons of laughing guaranteed. Warhammer Vermintide 2. This is a 4-player co-op action game where you can control one of 5 heroes and fight the combined forces of a ruinous chaos army and a swarming Skaven horde. The only thing standing between utter defeat and victory is you and your allies. If you fall, so will the Empire. So it's fair to say that the Empire is probably doomed and it's your fault. Well, at least in the beginning, when you are not accustomed to the gameplay and controls. So here you can choose between 5 different characters, each with 3 branching careers to master. You will also find ladders of different difficulty, from puny and lame recruit to more respectful veteran and champion, and finally a legend. Also 15 talent trees and more than 50 various types of powerful weapons won't let you get bored, that's for sure. Titan Chaser. It's a meditative experience where you don't have to manage fuel, car maintenance, health or damage. Just find where to drive and how to use your tools effectively, or just forget about your work and drive through foggy landscapes to calm down after a hard day, although your job here is to find monsters and make them go away.
I think it is inspired by a Norwegian movie called Troll Hunter.
This is the best Norwegian accent I can do. Sue me. Game has very positive reviews and people on Steam are saying that this game is an absolute gem, really creative and ambitious project. Trine 4: The Nightmare Prince. I think many of you have heard about the Trine series. It was one of the first hard-worked attempts to make platformer games even more beautiful than they were before. This is a member of 3D platformers with fixed camera, or as developers call it, a 2.5D, which is a bit confusing.
I ate 2.5 burgers.
So you have left to half of one for me?
No, I ate all 3 of them, but I never moved a muscle.
So that is basically a 2.5D explanation. I know it is confusing for everyone who owns only 1D, as I do. So here you'll control 3 heroes sent on a quest to retrieve the troubled young prince. Wizard, knight and thief are joined together once again on a thrilling quest through beautiful fairy tale landscapes teeming with danger. People on Steam are saying that this game is simpler than the previous Trine titles. Puzzles are easier, but when you play in co-op mode with friends, everything is chaos. Also keep in mind that this game will eat your machine's computing power as if you were digging for bitcoins. And keep in mind that all Trine games are discounted, not only this one. Severed Steel. Here you will play as a woman named Steel. You have a prosthetic arm and you use it to navigate the levels, which adds an interesting and unique element to the gameplay. And although Steel has no arm, she's not armless, if you know what I mean. Honestly, here you'll find a huge arsenal of arms, just not arms. The game's physics engine can be a little bit wild at times, which makes for some hilarious moments when enemies get flung around like ragdolls. And with a killer soundtrack that perfectly matches the game's pace, Severed Steel is really fun to play. Whether you are a hardcore FPS fan or just looking for a casual game, I think it's worth your time. It has more than 90% of positive reviews on Steam, and that is always a proof of a good game. Detroit: Become Human. Here, decisions will dramatically alter how the game's intense, branching narrative plays out. Your choices really matter, not like in real life. Basically, the whole game is built around your choices. You can't do anything here except to choose what to do in certain situations. Well, also you move around a little and search for clues, but that's kinda it. And every decision you make, no matter how small, affects the outcome of the story. And in this game, no playthrough will be exactly the same. You can replay again and again to discover a totally different conclusion, sometimes absolutely unexpected one. Well, let's be honest, you probably won't do that many times, but it's nice to know that the ending you got is really unique. Also, you can try the free demo version on Steam. INMOST. This is an emotional and deeply atmospheric narrative-driven puzzle platformer. You will uncover the stories of an adventurous young girl, a stoic knight, and a man in search of answers. You will explore a crumbling, nightmarish landscape, slice through enemies and spring deadly traps in order to escape the evil that awaits. You will have to lure enemies into lethal traps, solve environmental puzzles, and utilize your scythe, hookshot, and pickaxe to avoid a gruesome end. The story is not very long. It will take you about 3 to 5 hours to complete. Literally depends on how dumb you are, because it's a puzzle game. It can work like an IQ test. If you finish it in 3 hours, congratulations. If in 5, well, I have bad news for you.
And you finished it in 10.
No, that's a lie. That's a lie, everyone.
No, it isn't.
Shut up. Riftbreaker. Here you are, the Riftbreaker, an elite scientist commando inside a powerful mecha suit.
Ooh la la.
You have entered a one-way portal to a distant planet at the far reaches of the Milky Way. You have a purpose of building up a base that will allow travels back to Earth and continue colonization. So you are tasked to construct a two-way rift back to Earth, because living on a planet without cold, refreshing beer or potato salad is painful, and that shouldn't even be a legal thing. Although you encounter a bit of a bigger problem than the absence of beer, which is monsters, thousands of them. The game itself is a hybrid between StarCraft, Diablo, and Satisfactory, a really great and entertaining game. Geneforge 1 Mutagen. Well, if you or I entered the beauty contest one day, we would feel like Geneforge feels among other RPGs now. Yeah, and I mean beautiful, mature, and smart. Raise your confidence, you are an amazing person, never doubt that. Now subscribe. So, Geneforge 1 Mutagen is a total remaster of a classic game Geneforge released in 2001. It contains new areas, quests, characters, dialogue, and redone interface and systems. Also, it has a complete overhaul of every single thing to bring it to the modern era of gaming. Here you play as a technomantic summoner genetic mad scientist of sorts, who learns over time to create a variety of creatures that you can upgrade and tweak each time you summon them. To say short, this game gives you freedom to create life and shape it as you desire. Game also gives you a chance of playing all of this without killing stuff. Well, almost without killing, but mostly with. You know, diplomacy is a tricky business. The Surge 2. On the way to Jericho City, your plane is shut down by a mysterious storm and crash lands in the outskirts. You wake up weeks later in a derelict detention facility inside the city. Armor-clad soldiers enforce martial law. Robots are on a rampage and a dark, expanding nanostorm looms over the cityscape. So, long story short, everything here wants you dead. But you're not some lame, puny peasant. You have your mechanical sword and can beat enemies with it and take their parts and make yourself better in the process. Imagine if you hand wrestle with a coworker you hate, then you win and take his eyes as a prize. Well, that took a dark turn rather quickly, right? For Triumph. This is a hybrid between Heroes of Might and Magic and traditional XCOM-centric games, meaning that you have a large world map where you can free roam and search for various treasures, and the battle map where all the action is happening, and there you can actually utilize your surroundings. Every tree or boulder is a potential weapon in battle, so here you will lead a band of heroes with different skill sets through a witty and funny fantasy plot. Yeah, the game doesn't take itself seriously, but that sometimes can be repulsive for more serious players. The game looks and feels like a cartoon, but the difficulty is not childish, believe you me. I played it on normal and it felt like a nightmare. Although if you were used to getting free games from Epic, check your library, you may already have it. Arcanum of Steamworks and Magick Obscura. There is a big chance that you have missed this game 22 years ago. Well, I absolutely did. I have no idea why it wasn't popular in Lithuania back then, when every kid was playing Baldur's Gate 8 times in a row. So Arcanum of Steamworks and Magick Obscura is a straight highway to Nostalgia Town. Good thing is that the game was made in the time when everyone wasn't woke, and some themes in the game are being thoroughly avoided by most of the games nowadays. Also, the game is not dumbed down. You know, I just recently played Diablo 4, it is a really fun game, but made in a way that an absolute idiot could play it. You don't even need to arrange stats anymore, everything is done for you. You just click, 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 and you win. That is amazing, but, you know, it's not the same as before. And that is not the case in all good games. Here you'll find 16 primary skills, including gambling and healing, 80 spells with 16 colleges of magic, and 56 technological degrees with 8 disciplines. The game is huge and replayability is really high as well. Like really, I'm not kidding, here you'll find more than 300 unique characters and monster types. People on Steam are saying that if they could sell their soul to the devil for the remastered version, it will be a great bargain. Sadly, most of them are probably redheads, so the devil is not interested. Well, anyway, let's hope to see a remastered version someday in the future. Sherlock Holmes, The Devil's Daughter. This is an adventure with unique gameplay that blends investigation, action and exploration. It will test the limits of your nerves and intelligence. Yeah, this game is not for the faint of heart. The puzzles can be devilishly difficult, and the plot is full of twists and turns that will keep you guessing until the very end. You'll have to track down evil in the darkest corners of London while playing as the great detective and untangle a web of intrigue leading to the final stunning revelation about the evil that lurks in the city. Is it real evil, or is it just Scooby-Doo level evil? I don't know. Well, I do, but this is not a channel of spoilers. This is a channel of games and potato salad, approved by your sister. Darkwood. If you could imagine a Lovecraftian forest with all the horrors in it, Darkwood checks all the marks. It is heavily inspired by, for example, Color Out of Space, and even has some Easter eggs in this field. When I played it, I felt that creators probably took a lot of inspiration from Stephen King as well, who is himself a fan of Lovecraft, and you can feel the influence in many of his novels, starting from madness-infusing Shining to the horrors of the unknown in The Mist. So the Darkwood makes you feel that you are trying to survive in one of these stories. Creepy monsters, inhabitants and ever-changing woods surround your every step. By day you collect resources and explore the area, but by night you must barricade yourself in a safe place because various beasts of horror will try to make you, less alive. So every night is a battle for survival, and every day is another chance to make your fortress stronger. Story is great, the gameplay is great, and the game is simply a must-play. Starbound. This is basically a Terraria in space where you create your own story. There is no wrong way to play. You can go and save the universe from the forces that destroyed your home, uncovering greater galactic mysteries in the process. Or you may wish to ignore this heroic journey entirely in favor of colonizing uncharted planets, collecting rare creatures, or delve into dangerous dungeons and lay claim to otherworldly treasures. Discover ancient temples and modern cities, trees with eyes, mischievous penguins, and talking ding-dongs. Well, you'll be first to find those, but you never know. Universe is endless. Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. If you were looking for a new story-rich AAA game, search no more. Here you as young Sherlock Holmes will struggle to prove yourself as you navigate an exotic, dangerous island in the Mediterranean to investigate the mystery of your mother's death. Your legacy is written by the decisions you make. Deception, violence, and deduction are just a few resources in your arsenal. The game is set in an open world, and the discount is really not so bad this time. Thank you for watching, have a nice day.
And I'll see you next time. Bye.